Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai, ahchyam Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in this gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, ahchyam, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick in transit. Try it again. I hope the phone don't overheat, brothers. It's like pulling teeth to get these in transits out. But everything is through the spirit. The spirit operates how it operates. As the scriptures say, the spirit is like the wind. So, whatever the spirit wants, it gets. But lately, doing these in transits, man, there's always been some type of distraction. Phones dying, phones overheating. Esau just totally cutting the whole live stream in general, which he's done that several times, even with our camp. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, we was at camp and he cut our live stream 3 different times, man. When we was bringing out some information, going into the dark ages in a book called Nature Know No Color Line, and we were going into how the swarthy Jews look, which they're people of color. Like when you go into that word swarthy, swartz, Germanic or German for black. All right, and it's a known fact that the Hebrew Israelites is a predominantly people of color. For the predominantly people of color, which you will have other Israelites that come looking like speckled birds. We call them speckled birds, or we call them Israelite foreigners. We used to call them confusion of face, but that's not necessarily the breakdown of what an Israelite foreigner is. It's a confusion of face. That's not what that's talking about. Confusion of face goes into simply us being casted off and being as the heathen, because when you look at Jake in our culture, it was known to be one way, but when you see our people acting in a Gentile state of mind, according to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, it says we was once carried away by these dumb idols. Jake is conjoined to these idols, man. So that's where you get the Gentile aspect from, which we will call the heathen by the Most High. All right, so it's not a hard concept to believe or to understand that every Israelite was not come out looking like so-called black people, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, man. That's just not how DNA, or that's just not how biology works. Even the science will tell you that. Hell, you can have a litter of black cats and one will come out fucking white. Like my mother, she had this Chihuahua dog and the nigga name was Blue. And we called him Blue because, that's a breed dog. It looks like a gray color, but they called him Blue. Now, he's not necessarily like the color blue, but anybody that's into dog breeding and, you know anything about pit bulls or particular breeds, he was the albino out of the Chihuahua litter. His brothers were black and white and with brown spots and brown and white, and he came out the only color as being blue. So he was pretty much a speckled bird out of the litter, man. So, even within the animal genus, it worked that way, So, kill that nonsense, man. But anyway, getting into the spirit, just being circumspect. A lot of weird shit is happening in the world. A lot of dreams. Brothers been having a lot of dreams. I myself been having spiritual dreams. Some that I can remember, some of them I can't. But just to be circumspect, man. Keep your head on a spiritual swivel is what I like to say. Keeping Yahweh ahchyam, Yahweh Shai at the forefront, man. Because the scriptures say, seek ye Yahweh ahchyam, Yahweh Shai first in all his righteousness, and then all things should be added unto you. So, putting Yahweh ahchyam, Yahweh Shai at your forefront, not moving too much, not doing too much, not doing too little, being in that perfect balance, because this thing is all about balance and maintaining. Okay, one thing about any art, whether it be boxing or MMA, jiu-jitsu, they would tell you have to have a center of balance in your mental. All right, even though some people practice martial arts as a spiritual religion, like you got Tao and all that other craziness. A lot of Buddhists, they practice Tai Chi, they practice particular parts of Kung Fu, and they would tell you the spiritual balance. But overall, in any sport, you got to have a foundation and a balance, and it's the same thing with this truth, because the truth is a martial art, believe it or not, because it's manifold, it's multi-dimensional. And winning martial arts is very tactical, man. Very tactical, very calculative, and you got to know when to attack, when to strike, and when not to attack. And that goes into the understanding of this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, because prime example, you got guys that wear fringes to job interviews, which me personally, no, bro. That's not a good look. Here you were going for let's say you're going to be a vice president of a bank. You know, you may have a background in banking and all that other stuff. And here you're trying to be a vice president of a bank or a small branch. And yeah, you rocking fringes to the interview, man. Like, bro, what is wrong with you? Nah, bro, it's not circumspect. You know, so being in the spirit to operate and when to know, you know, what you should be using discernment in everyday life. You know, you should be using discernment when you walk down the stairs in the morning. You're using discernment because you don't want to trip and fall and you know, and something happened to your ass, man. So to say this, you know, the weather's breaking. You know, a lot of shorties gonna be out. A lot of YNs gonna be out. Like, I had a crazy dream last night. I was with a bunch of fucking YNs, man. It was basically me, like, it was like, you know how, like, you have those dreams, like spiritual dreams, and you kind of overseeing things. And I don't know why this nigga King Von was in my dream. But they was trying to kill this nigga, you know. Now, me personally, I didn't get harmed. I didn't get touched. But coming out to his ass, they was trying to kill every last one of our ass, man. And that's to say, the spirit of YN is gonna be crazy this summer, man, because hey, shit is getting expensive. People ain't got money. People are getting laid off from record numbers, you know, and it's not looking too good for the average person. You know, rents are going up, the price gouging. Like, I was just doing some apartment searching because sometime, you know, when I get a time from work, because I've been running around all day. And that's the spirit. That's why I've been doing these in transits a little bit more, which this used to be an every morning thing for me. In transits, I'm on my way to work, but my job has kind of switched up a little bit, so I have time to kind of do other things. But anyway, so riding around, you know, looking at apartments because I'm still contemplating on whether I want to move or not, you know. But everything is just so goddamn high. I mean, nowhere you go is going to be cheap anymore. I'm talking about for like, you could get base level shit. Get you 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, whatever, and the shit gonna run you about $1,300-$1,400, man, easy. And then the crazy part about it is that they're charging, like, you know, the older properties, like you got what they call luxury living, and you got B+ properties, which have basic amenities, and they write themselves off as being luxury, but they're not in a high price range as these so-called luxury apartments. Which luxury just means that you got a granite goddamn countertop, stainless steel appliances, some cheap ass hardwood floor, some great carpet, and some paint. Basic shit, right? They put the same thing in every apartment out here. That's just how it is, all right? That's what Esau do to capitalize, right? But when you going into just the bare level shit, the basic things, you know, the old apartments that was born, you know, maybe built in the 70s and 80s, big apartments, you know, they got the carpet, regular appliance, and all this other shit. But yet they're charging you water, sewer, and trash, which prior to the pandemic, properties were covering those three basic amenities, man. Because my thing is, why the fuck am I paying for water? Why am I paying for trash when trash is a service that's issued by the municipality of KC? So the property ultimately takes the hit on that. But if you got 300 some tenants all paying $30-$40+ for these so-called luxuries, then they just made money hand over fist to not do anything good to the apartments, man. So it's basically highway robbery, and this is the society that we're living in. Everybody is capitalized off one another, man. You know, notice, like, if you got some debts or if you have debt, a lot of these collection agencies are trying to get in contact with people now to try to collect on a $200 debt, or they'll send it to your credit report, which is stupid. It's like, you're gonna really hit somebody's credit because they didn't pay a copay of $200 when technically the insurance should cover everything. So people are feeling the burn, they're feeling the squeeze, and people are getting ready to bug the hell out, man. You know, because they said damn near 60% of people's income is into living expenses. And who the hell wants to go to work just to pay rent? You know, yeah, you may have a roof over your head, but you got to be able to afford food, you know, which is groceries. You got to be able to put clothes on your back, shoes on your feet. You got to pay other bills on top of that, which energy crisis is crazy right now, you know. Ever since Trump then put these tariffs on Canada, which I believe he redacted on for 90 days. You know, he did like a 90-day suspension on these tariffs. But China, the one who he's being big bad wolf with, called his bluff, man. But even then, the ports are pretty much empty, according to some reports, man. So it's gonna get real sticky real soon, man. So, you know, when you brothers are out and about and you few sisters out there, hey man, just be spiritually aware. Watch who you talk to, watch how you talk to people. And I'm not saying be a pushover, because, you know, honestly speaking, we're in a time now that, hey, the Lord gonna let us get our lick back, man. All that docile and trying to take the low shit, which is always good. Scriptures say, be ye therefore harmless as harmless as doves and wise as serpents. Of course, you want to be wise in everything that you do, but some situations is gonna cause for, you know, you to have to make a move out here, man. And I'm not saying go to the club and beat somebody up. You shouldn't be in the club any damn way, you know, or go to the bar and smack somebody upside the head. No, we're not talking about that. But it's gonna be situations that present itself that you're gonna have to make a choice, man. Either you gonna move or get the hell out of Dodge, man. You know? Now, if you can avoid any altercation, it would be wise to do so. Because, like I said, people ain't operated with a full deck, man. You know, motherfuckers all Molly and Perkins set up. And then, remember, the jab. They gave between 2 to 5 years that jab was gonna start kicking in. And a lot of people are getting sick behind that. Call like ahchyam shot 144. What do you have ahchyam shot? Spirit never lets down. And the truck got it on it. You got the phone number on it and the number of the truck had 144 on it. That's the Spirit of the Lord, man. You know, which confirms what we're saying. But a lot of people are getting sick from that jab. Like they said that so many percentage of nurses have been found with brain tumors and turbo cancers in their bodies that was forced to take the WAP, you know? But yet they was the main ones advocating for it. Oh, you need to take it. You need to go there, go down to your primary physician and make sure they do the hokey poke on your ass. And then these are the same people that's getting ready to drop dead for internal brain bleeding, man. You know? So it's not looking too good. Like my supervisor, this is like the 2nd week she's been out. I don't know what's going on with her, you know? I know she took it, but, you know, last time I talked to her, she was doing good. She was healthy. You know, she looks pretty much good in the body, you know, but who knows, man? Because everybody that I know in the field that I work in, I know each and every last one of their ass took that jab, man. And, you know, I was speaking on it, and I'm like, that wasn't a good look for any of you, you know? And I don't know why she's taking 2 weeks out. Maybe she just going through some things. Who knows? She's an older woman. But regardless of it, you know, it's not looking too good. Matter of fact, last week or the week before last, lady died at work, you know? She didn't die at work, but a lady, you know, that was well known at the job, she died, you know? Now, I don't know what type of complications or sicknesses, but you can quite guess what it was, man. And the fact that they're spraying all these chemicals in the air, you know, this technology is getting a little bit more freaky. You know, like my Wi-Fi has been acting crazy the last 2 weeks, man. You know, sometimes it hooks up, sometimes it disconnects itself. And, you know, so it's something really going on here, man. And people are, something is happening in the spirit, you know, and people, they're not looking too good. You know, people are not, they're not patient anymore. You know, people are very quick with you. And it's just best to really just stay under the radar, brothers, man, if you could. You know, don't go nowhere just doing too much. Keep your ass right in the middle. You go out to the spots, have a couple of drinks, you know, have a couple of drinks, kick it with the bros, or you got your little chick, you know, and keep it pushing, man. Out of sight, out of mind, you know. Like I like to always go by the element of surprise. All right, with the element of surprise, you can never go wrong, man. Because the shot that gets them is the one they don't see coming, you know. So, you know, stay tranquil. Like right now, my patience is being tested. My other whip is in the shop getting some work done to it. And, you know, he told me 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay. So he called me today. I got a little excited. But I had a dream the other day that they done did some fuck shit on my car. Spirit warned me. And then I get a call today. And the crazy part, I was just thinking about this motherfucker, man. I was thinking about him 10 minutes, my phone rang. I'm like, okay. So maybe he getting ready to say, hey, come pick up the car. But then again, knowing how these people work, and they some Issacharites, knowing how they work, too good to be true. So I didn't hold my breath. So he was like, man, can you come down here? I'm like, what now? He said, we just want to show you something, man. Such, 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 such. I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. You know, so back in my mind, I'm already embracing to be pissed off. But you know what? I'm going to deal with it patiently because this is what the fuck I'm paying them to do. This is y'all shit. Y'all experts at this. Do whatever it takes and get the motherfucker up right. That's all you got to do. Not that hard. Stop being lazy and find the parts. Whatever y'all got to do, man. And keep it pushing. I shouldn't have to stress about it, but, you know, those attacks, you know. So definitely, brothers, man, stay in the spirit. And Yahweh Shem Shah Barak Thumb. To you, Akim out there, Akwathiam out there, Shalom, Shalom. Ephesians 5:15, disciple Yahweh Shai. See that ye didn't walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Right, man? Because the days are evil, man. All right. Let me see what else we got here. Matthew 24:12. Because iniquity should abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Yep. We're seeing that. Family members, divisions, tumults, all this, man. You know, even among our own circles, among our own families, there's going to be divisions, you know, because of the particular instances that's happening in the world, especially with these coming blackouts and these cyber attacks. People's money is being messed with. You know, if you had Citibank, I think like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, tops, they systems went down for some time and people couldn't get their money out the banks, man. You know, and that upset a lot of people. So, hey, they're doing the bank runs, they're doing the test runs. And the fact that we're speaking on these things and we're warning the people, they ain't gonna look at us as being anything of important. They're gonna really hate us because they're gonna blame us, say it's y'all fault this is happening. Like, how in the hell is our fault? Like, I don't have control over the banks. Now, directly through the spirit, you know, you could say that we're causing a ruckus because the Lord said, you know, he told Jeremiah, he said, look, he said, behold, I make your words fire and this people wood, man. And what he speak would devour them. So ultimately, when we are speaking these words, it is putting people in a crazy predicament because the scriptures goes into speaking things, man. You know, you speaking things into existence that'll happen. That's what the Lord said. If you say you have a faith as the seed of a mustard seed, you can say cast ye yonder and the mountain will be thrown into the water, roughly paraphrased. You can move the mountain, man. You know? So yeah, through the spirit, the words we speaking are it's causing this place to spiritually bankrupt, man, you know. But anyway, I'm at my destination, brothers, man. Just wanted to do a quick in transit while I had a little downtime. Well, not downtime, but you know, on the go. You know, the work don't never stop, even if you do. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Hawashai, Bashim Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone, blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Lord's will, y'all were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, Baba Shalom.